Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Ravindra, and today I'm gonna talk about budget travel and where you want to stay. So people ask me this question all the time, asking me, is there a difference between a hostel and a hotel? And what's the main difference between a hostel and a hotel? So these are some of the common questions that I keep getting all the time because I travel a lot, and if you have been following me, then you might be knowing that I keep traveling to so many places and also to few countries these days, and I have been staying in hostels and also in hotels here in India and abroad. The first point being the internet and the library. Yes, most of the hotels these days have internet, but how many of these hotels do you find a library? I mean, you don't really need a library when you're staying or when you're traveling. It's not something that you can expect, but well, when I went to hostel, that was a bit of a surprise for me when I stayed in California in San Francisco. There was this library in a youth hostel where there were so many books mainly meant for travelers. You can just pick any of the book and then take it along with you, and also you can leave away some of the books or any valuable information that will help the travelers. So basically you share and care is what they follow when it comes to these libraries. And mainly it will help the budget travelers and also the travelers who are traveling to different locations, and mainly on the travel information is what you will find in these libraries. It is not like a premium membership that you need to pay or anything. It's completely free. If you are staying in these hostels, then you get to read these books. The second point is the like-minded people, because especially when I used to sit here in this library, or especially in the morning whenever I used to have breakfast, I met a lot of people from around the world. I still have some of my friends, even though I had traveled from India to California. And when I explored that place, I stayed in these hostels. I stayed in 2 to 3 different hostels over there during my stay for about a week there. And I met people from New Zealand, I met people from the United States, Canada and Germany. And there were many more people. I hardly had any time because I just used to stay in these hotels at night, and I used to explore during the daytime. And that's the very less time that I had spent over there. But the time that I had spent was, I can say, worth the money and also worth the time, and also the friends that I made. They are of, I mean, I could share so many information of my travel related things, the photography related things. It is mainly the like-minded people, and these friends will be your friends for a long time, and I still have them. I interact with them once in a while, and they keep asking me these questions: how are things in your country, do we have some place to travel, and all those kind of information, which is sometimes useful. This next is the stay for budget travelers. Mainly if you're comparing hotel versus hostel kind of query that you're doing on Google, then I would say you'll find a lot of luxury hotels with so many things. But then honestly, when you're traveling, do you really need to stay in these luxury hotels? That's a question, because you spend the entire day. Only a place where you need to sleep is what matters. So as long as you have a bed, and which is a decent place enough for you to stay there, I think that should be more than enough. And that's the primary thing. So I would say in India, international youth hostels would cost you around 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, whereas the regular hostels, the youth hostels, will cost you around 250 to 300 rupees a night, which is really cheap when compared to hotels, which will almost cost 1,000 or 2,000 rupees minimum for an average kind of hotel. And there are these luxury hotels which will cost you around just like any other European hotels. By the way, you might want to join my friend zone, because I'll be sharing some exclusive content with my friends who have signed up. So there is a link in the description below. Sign up to my newsletter. And coming to the next point, why hostel is better than hotel is because we have these indoor games. Say if it's cold outside and if it's raining, which is what happened in one of the hostels when I stayed. There were so many unknown people, but then they were all like-minded, and I could just go to the place where they have these indoor games and you can just go and play, which is not something that you will find in hotels. And also it's all for a budget. You don't have to even pay anything extra when you're playing here in these indoor games, or when you're using the library or even the kitchen over there. Everything is completely free, and it's all included in the cost. The next point is the information that you get, and also the people at the front desk in these youth hostels. They are super friendly. You get valuable information of that place or going around that place for free, and there is no other information. And they even give you a pamphlet and also small booklet. You might have seen this Lonely Planet book. This, I can say, the cut-down version of that is what you get in these hostels. Basically, if you are into mountain biking or cycling, or if you're a trek or a hiker or if you're a traveler, basically you get this information for free of cost. And there are these apps which you can download and use. Usually you get the hard copy in these places and you can refer to that and go explore the place, and they will give you all the valuable information that is required. And also, if you're wondering if hostels are safe, yes, it is safe, because I have been staying there. And if you're a solo traveler, by the way, and if you're a female or male, they have separate categories, and also in some of the places it's combined, and they even have family rooms. So if you're a family man, just make sure that not all of them have the family rooms. You can even stay in these family rooms with your family. Coming to the next point, the best thing is that you will find these hostels in most of the exotic locations everywhere in the world, whether it's Europe or whether you're traveling to Canada or Australia or India or any of these places, or Japan. Anywhere in the world you will find hostels around the world, and all that you need is one single membership card, and the membership is super cheap and you can just stay anywhere. And there are a few things which you may not like. One is that strict rules in some of the hostels when it comes to timings, which is not the case outside of India, but in India there are few hostels where they are a bit strict on the timings, as in when you can enter the hostel, when you can leave the hostel. That's mainly some of the private owned, or else usually we do not have anything of that sort for mid-aged kind of people. And some of the hostels do have age restrictions, so check these hostels, especially the government ones. They do have some of the restrictions when it comes to age in some of the European countries, and I guess I'm not sure about that. You might want to check the individual hostels for that. When it comes to alcohol and drinking, it is strictly not allowed in India, but in other countries. When I went to US, even over there they did not allow this, but they had a separate room for that, where you get all the drinks, you drink over there in that room, and you come out without any bottle. And you can come out drunk, but then you cannot get the bottles out of that room. Well, it's kept aside, it's kept separate. So, well, you cannot get drinks from outside as well. So that's the difference between staying in a hostel and a hotel. And by the way, just like any other hotel, you get free breakfast in all of these hostels, which is completely free. And that too, they have got a variety over there. When I went to US, we had a lot of things in the breakfast menu which was completely free. And that too, for an overnight stay in a hostel, it was just around $20 or so, which was much cheaper when compared to hotels in the US, because hotel would have cost me at least $125 or $100, which is not the case. When I stayed in a hostel, it was just $20, including breakfast and all these amenities that we had, and including all these indoor games and library and free information. It was fun stay. If you're in India, then we do have hostels, which is a private one, and you are allowed to even drink over there. So they are in some of the exotic locations like Old Manali, Gokarna, and Leh. So they are everywhere. So you can find these hostels almost everywhere, but then you just have to make sure that you pre-book that, because these hostels are mainly meant for budget travelers. It will be booked in no time, so make sure that you book it in advance. By the way, it's completely safe to stay in these hostels, and you might want to check out this card above, where I carry this camera when I travel everywhere I go, and also a few other tips that I've mentioned here. So go ahead, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit on the bell icon to get all the latest updates.